Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Josh Shirley. I'm with Alight Analytics. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Partnerships. Today we're going to be talking about ChannelMix, our enterprise marketing analytics platform, and we're going to show you what it is, what it does, and how it can help you. Our core customers, when they come to us, usually what we're typically listening for is one or more of the following things here. So I spend way more time prepping data than doing analysis is very common. A lot of times people tell us, I can't see all of my data together in one place. I can't optimize my campaigns fast enough. And I can't demonstrate the value of our marketing performance to our stakeholders. If you're a brand, sales team, if you're a brand, if you're an agency, I can't show this type of performance or hard work to our clients. And a lot of times what we hear is, I have a good analytics practice, but I know it can be better. If you don't have any of these pains, this might be something that's educational for you, but we might not have a solution to your problem. So to kind of quickly sum us up, we're Alight Analytics. We're based in Kansas City. We've been in business doing strictly marketing analytics for over 11 years now. And our sole purpose is to help find confidence in the value of marketing. There's a lot of other companies out there right now that have some similar marketing messaging to what we originated 11 years ago. And I'm going to show some of these competitors here. This is another way that you can kind of see that you might be on the right track in terms of what you want to find in us. These companies do a good job of talking about the problem as well. Their solution typically involves software. And so these guys are going to give you a software tool where you can perform a lot of the functions with a tool. Our approach is different than that. Essentially, we want to help you guys understand how. And we solve the problem with services where Domo, Datarama, TapClicks, and then we have some smaller players like Improvato and Funnel who've kind of just popped onto the market recently from offshore. And essentially, what we're going to do is solve the problem a couple of different ways. We have ChannelMix. The purpose of ChannelMix is to take technology and services and equip marketers with analysis-ready data and the ability to leverage it. So we put some things together to help people get the rest of the way. Our Insight group is our professional services team, and they are able to actually perform analysis utilizing a lot of different business intelligence tools, and they can wrap a lot of different services around our customers as well. So some differentiators from some of the other things that might be out there. We've been doing this for 11 years. We've only done marketing analytics. We also use our platform every single day. So you'll see some messaging out there by some of our competitors that say that they have a marketing data platform built for marketers by marketers. And that's true for us as well. But we actually perform analysis for a lot of our end clients, and therefore we have to have a platform that makes us efficient and delivers us analysis-ready data on time every day. And ChannelMix does that. It's why we invented it. ChannelMix offers one connection for all your marketing data sources. So instead of a lot of different connectors that are there for you to manage, ChannelMix is your connection for all of those different data flows. We're also a debt-free company, and that means our success and your success fuels our growth, not venture capital money. Finally, if we could encapsulate our difference a little bit more, we'd say that what we offer is technology of a software company with the services of a consultancy to go with that. So where we meet a lot of our customers for the first time is that this particular ratio between the time spent putting data together and the time spent actually analyzing the performance of marketing data is out of sync. It's not correctly proportioned. And what their process often looks like, and what ours did for a long time before we figured it out, is we have this ecosystem of data sources that we manually pull out. We actually take manpower and we go to each one of these places individually. We download reports into Excel and we assemble that data into some tables, and then we manually build a lot of different charts And then we take all of those things and we slam it into PowerPoint. And we say that's where data goes to die. And we call this process the data death march. And a lot of the clients that come to us, we're spending a lot of time doing it this way. Over the years, though, this data death march has kind of taken on a few different looks. There's another way that it might happen for you. There's having only BI at the end of the rainbow there, and everything else is still very manual. So we have these great tools like Tableau and Power BI that are industry leading, and they're capable of doing a lot of free-form decision-based analytics, but I can't use those tools as often as I want to because of how much time I have to spend getting the data into an expression that I can use in those tools. You might also have something that looks like this. Maybe you're using a data grabber like Supermetrics or one of these other tools to pull data out of all these different source systems, but it's up to me to manage the connection. It's up to me to clean the data up manually once it does come in from those different data flows. Then I have to combine the data into a lot of different data sets from individual data sources. So that may mean that I have to take my paid search data and actually combine that manually with my social data and with my website data to see how the campaign performed. Your ecosystem could also be like this, where I have to buy a different tool for every step of the process here. So I have something like Fivetran or Segment that takes data out, and then I go out and buy a data store to send that data to, and then I have another tool on top of those two to actually manage the data that's inside of it by blending and putting some different things together. So not only am I paying for a lot of different software and different places for it to land, I'm also gambling that all these different things are compatible with one another, and I also have to hire people along the way to manage all these different components as well. And by the time I'm done, I have a very expensive version of the data death march that's still taking place before I can analyze my data with powerful tools like what we have here is Google Data Studio as well as Tableau. A lot of people take another step to try to solve that problem that might look like this, where I have a single tool to try to do everything. And a lot of these software providers are about providing you a tool to get the data out of these different data endpoints and into a situation where I can then manage the connections, clean up the data, and then prepare the data, and then I use the same tool to report on it. Datarama is the tool that I'm showing here, and a lot of people that we've migrated off of this solution have said, you know what, I have to pay for the software, but I've also got to pay for somebody to actually go out and manage my connections and prepare all my data before I can do the fun part of actually analyzing it. And this Datarama is not the only player with this business model. There's also Domo. We see TapClicks in this area a lot as well. And there's a couple of other small companies that prove that there's enough VC money out there for anybody with this kind of message. Basically, what's going on here is I am able to save myself a little bit of time, but I don't often account for the fact that I need to throw valuable resources into the management, cleanup, and blending of data. It's also on me to manage all of my connections. So if I have a connection to Facebook that no longer works, I have to wait on my software tool to fix that connection before I can get my data. I don't have a team managing that for me. So whether you're on a single stack like this, or you're piecing it together in some other way, or you're still stuck in Excel, our customers all kind of tell us similar things. We know that they're ready for a solution like ours when they're starting to run into problems like this. So for our agency clients, we might hear that we've lost clients because of the lack of a robust data and analytics practice, or I couldn't get that new business opportunity because I didn't have the data and analytics capabilities that they were looking for and the agency across the street did. Or worse, I've actually lost people who weren't really satisfied with their jobs because it wasn't what they signed up for. Our brands sometimes tell us that they spend way too much money on the wrong tactics. So I don't know how to optimize my spend and be budget responsible. Or I have difficulty proving the value that marketing is bringing to my organization. My sales team is frustrated with the money that I'm spending. I can't show my CMO or my CEO what's happening. Or I lose employees who aren't fulfilled with the role that they actually have. And all of our customers, when they come to us, essentially want something like this, where I want to have as little as possible time actually gathering and preparing the data. And then I want to analyze my performance with the rest. It's never 100% because marketing data is very fractured and siloed, and that's a reality of our interest today. So a lot of our customers are enjoying a ratio that looks more like this. And the way we approach this problem is by realizing first that you don't just have one problem, you actually have two problems. First is data aggregation. I've got to bring the data together and put it into a form that I can actually use for analytics. And second, I've got to be able to report on the data. The way we think about approaching these two problems is to break it up into a couple of different pieces. So ChannelMix is actually what we use to refer to the technology and services that surround the first three data disciplines. And the Insight Group are our professional services wing that will take care of data visualization and helping our clients with data insights. So with data aggregation is actually the practice of taking data from source systems and getting them ready to use. Data management is having a landing spot and a cleanup location where we can apply rules to make that data consistent. And data utilization is the process of blending that data into larger analysis-ready views. Data visualization is the art of crafting charts and graphs and crafting visualizations or models that help me understand the power and the performance of my marketing. And then the insights is where our customers want to be. They want to be able to take analytics and draw from that. So here's our typical approach using the 5 data disciplines. We start with that data ecosystem that we showed in our data death march scenario over there on the left. And the first thing we have to aggregate the data is an actual data integrations team. And their job is to take data from as many different sources as required in your ecosystem and connect to that ecosystem in as automated a way as they can. And that can include flat files from a range of source systems, or a media plan that's in a spreadsheet, or a nice clean API, or an ETL process that we have to write. But we write that process just for your ecosystem. So we don't have a large software enterprise where we have to wait and where you have to wait in line to get your particular data endpoint into the system. We're going to find out what your ecosystem is and build that for you and customize it for the analysis that you want to do. That team actually writes those scripts towards a data warehouse. And this data warehouse is actively managed by your data platform team. These guys are responsible for making sure the data is consistent and we can warehouse or distribute that to a number of different endpoints. So it can be Google BigQuery for clients who like to use Google Data Studio, and AWS plays very nicely with our Tableau clients and our Microsoft Power BI clients. On the data utilization side, we have a team called the Data Solutions team. Their job is to take the data that's in your warehouse and actually turn it into a usable data set for your analysis. And that's custom to the data strategy that supports your reporting plan. Those activities all together and that technology is what we call ChannelMix. And we'll be talking about what you can use to access your data ecosystem and manage your ecosystem within ChannelMix, as well as the different team players that you have on our side that can help you manage those steps. Data visualization, because we separate our data layer from the visualization layer, you can use a variety of business intelligence tools at the same time. So you can have Google Data Studio, Microsoft Power BI, Excel, and Tableau if you're a large enough company. After the data's been visualized, you can use that to distribute it to the users at your organization. And that may be the stakeholders at a brand or some of the clients at an agency. They all have different needs, and we can help you develop your visualizations in a way that make the reporting that you're doing impactful. So that's what the process looks like. Whether you work with us or you work with someone else, these 5 things we found over our 11 years in the business simply have to be done in order to put a solid foundation underneath your analytics strategy, whether you're an agency or a brand. And this is how we work with a lot of companies, with ChannelMix setting the foundation from aggregation, management, and utilization, while the client handles visualization and insights. And other companies need more help than that, so their situation looks a little bit more like this, where we take on visualization as well. So let's show how it works. So what you're looking at right now is the data aggregation component of our 2-part problem. Remember, we've got to solve for data and we've got to solve for reporting. So on the data side, we have ChannelMix, and what you see on the screen is simply a web app that's designed for you to look through this window and into your actively managed warehouse. And here is Tableau. Tableau is a data visualization tool. It's reported by Gartner as the top data visualization tool in the world, and it's used by millions of people and probably has the largest support base of any BI tool out there, from user groups to resources you can find online to use it. And it's also compatible with pretty much any database. It's designed for free-form analytics that allow the user to dive in and uncover insights, which is why we like it a lot. There are a lot of tools out there to try, but we've tried them all and found Tableau to be the best. So we're going to use that for our demonstration today. And back at ChannelMix, we can see that we have a sample client that's been stood up for us called Top Secret. If Top Secret were an agency, we could go in here and see that this agency has about 14 different clients that it's concerned with. If Top Secret were a brand, we could see that it has 18 different business lines. So imagine Ford Motor Company has Focus, F-150, and Edge, all in these different business lines. So ChannelMix essentially on its homepage allows you to see how much storage your clients or your business lines are consuming, the most common business questions, and just some housekeeping items like total number of connections and users. On the Connect screen, it's designed simply to give you the ability to add an additional client or an additional business line, or if you're going to stand up an additional profile underneath one of the data sources that you already have. Shown in green on top is everything belonging to Top Secret and all the different data sources that they're using. However, if they decided to turn on any of the many data sources that we have connected, they could simply go to that data source, turn it on, and start pulling the data into ChannelMix. Remember that once data comes into a warehouse, it still has to be normalized. Our approach is that we do a lot of that management, normalization, and blending for you. However, the user does have a lot of capabilities that help them manage data day to day. Here you can see that we're looking at the library screen. And the library screen is essentially a way for me to understand all of my data in one place. I can see all of my clients or business lines. I can see every single data set that has been stood up for my company. I can even go in and see what's happening with this specific data set. I can understand things like what profile has been turned on, what fields are being used, how far back the data goes. I can get a preview of the data, and I can make a number of changes here. Within my profile, I can see that I have the ability to refresh data. So in this case, a lot of marketers end up with a situation where they get some information in the data set that was wrong, and they've gone back and fixed it in AdWords or DoubleClick or whatever the source system is, and they want the data to also be fixed inside of ChannelMix. So this simple action here gives them the ability to go back and refresh that data set as far back as it needs to go. The other powerful component of the library screen is that it gives my team, my analytics team at my agency or brand, the ability to have everything stored in one place. Many times on your analytics team, you can see that different data sets are stored in different people's laptops. It might be all over the place. It might exist in a couple of different databases at your company. We like to have everything together And we like for everybody who's touching the data to have a space to collaborate together. So I can leave different comments for people here. I can put a description of how the data set is used so that people joining my team as I grow can understand immediately how my data strategy is supporting my overall plan. And I have a way to go in and communicate directly with our team here at Alight. So as you can see, I have a number of data sets. I can see how the data has been set up. Meanwhile, back in my visualization tool, I can go in and see every single one of these clients or business lines appear in its own schema. And these are the same clients or business lines that we saw back here on the library screen. So in this schema, I have the ability to go into one of my brands and I can see exactly what's been activated for that brand. In this case, the India brand has several things that have been activated for them. And what I have access to here in my visualization tool, I can see are the same data sets that have been activated back here on the library screen. So for example, we can grab something like Google Analytics sessions and start analyzing them here in Tableau. So now, as if this were a cooking show, I've just set up two different data sets by dragging them into the box, Google Analytics and AdWords, with the idea that someone at my company wants to understand how my campaign and marketing has affected some of the sessions on my website. So the first thing I'm going to do is drag sessions into rows to quickly understand how my sessions have trended over about 13 or 14 months worth of sample data. So without having to download any spreadsheets from Google Analytics or fumble with anything inside of Google Sheets, I now can see my data trended out easily over a long period. And now, instead of having to go and perform the same exercise in AdWords, I can simply click on the data connection, grab impressions, and understand exactly how my impression count and when I was in campaign had influenced sessions over time. And just like that, I'm able to understand and perform quick analyses on the fly. So for example, if it gets more complex and I want to understand how Facebook may have also been involved in this, I can actually go and swap out my data source after duplicating it with some Facebook ads, if Facebook ads was a part of my campaign. So meanwhile, in Sheet 2, I can go back and see that Facebook is a part of my campaign as well. And likewise, I can bring Facebook over quickly to see how all of these different source systems work together to influence what's happening on my website. What we're seeing in this example is how source systems, when I have quick access to them, can easily be blended together inside ChannelMix. What allows me to do that is in ChannelMix, we're already doing some light management of the data for you as we bring it in. So in this example, we can see that Facebook, Google Analytics, and AdWords all contain a dimension called report date. This dimension actually doesn't exist inside of the source system, and that makes it very difficult to blend on. So at Alight, we create that for you, so that you have the ability to go and quickly blend seamlessly on the fly. And that's an example of how system to system I can understand data quickly on the fly. However, I may also want to understand something a little bit more complex that involves a lot more data sources. So you'll notice that back here in my library screen, I have data sets for India brand set up for AdWords, Bing, DoubleClick, Facebook ads, Google Analytics. I have some Twitter. I have some offline media that was uploaded in a media file, but I also have these special icons here that represent views that have been custom built by your ChannelMix Data Solutions team. In this case, I want to understand how all of my media is rolled together to create one large view where I can see the full power of all my media on display, both offline and online. And I can see that this doesn't just include data from one source system, it includes data from all over my ecosystem. So in order to create something like this, I can communicate with my ChannelMix team and submit a request to them specifically outlining what I'd like to have. Then your ChannelMix team constructs the view for you and notifies you when it's ready. Meanwhile, on Tableau, I can go back and see where all of my views are, including the views that have been custom built for my reporting plan. In this case, I wanted to see how all media from across all of my ecosystem interacts together. After my data set was constructed, I was able to come back into my visual analytics tool, and now I can see specifically what dimensions and measures I requested. In this case, I want to understand how all of my channels interact together across my entire ecosystem and what my ability to create awareness is in each channel. So in this case, I have about 321 total impressions over the time period that we're talking about in the data. But what I can do is go in and see by channel exactly how all of those impressions break out across all of my media, both online and offline included. And here I can see everything from cable on down to radio and TV, with online, out of home, paid search, paid social, and everything in between participating. And I can see the breakdown easily. And because of the way I requested my data to be set up by my data solutions team, I can see what campaigns specifically have contributed and in what proportion across my media ecosystem. I can see what campaigns have contributed to awareness building, how much cost has been associated to all these different campaigns. And with a team focused on building me a data set that's custom to my analysis, and because I don't have to spend my time on data collection, data manipulation, cleaning, management, and blending, I can focus my time on building a dashboard for my agency or for my brand that helps people answer business questions. And I can focus on helping them evolve those tools to fit their business questions as they change. In this example, I can quickly show in a dashboard what the total power of the media is over the time period selected, as well as total clicks, total conversions, and I can quickly shift between metrics and something like this, between clicks and spend, or clicks and conversions. And with a visual tool like this, I can quickly help people understand what marketing is doing for the organization. And I can give them the power to sort, pivot, and dig into a lot of the data. So that wraps up our demonstration for today. You can contact us at alightanalytics.com or info@alightanalytics.com if you're emailing. Please set up a meeting with our team to discuss your analytics goals, and we can see if ChannelMix is the right fit for you. Thanks again, everybody. This is Josh Shirley, Vice President of Sales and Partnerships here at Alight. Talk soon.